All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Eric Brown. I am currently serving as a member of the Board of Trustees of this congregation. All are welcome to join our hybrid worship service of the Fourth Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Westchester, where everyone is welcome and everyone belongs. A special welcome to those new to our congregation. We're glad you're joining us this morning, especially on a snowy day. Thank you to our guests for making their way over here as well, and thank you to all the folks online who are joining us as well. We invite you to stay for our coffee hour after service, and we hope you'll sign our guest book. We are a liberal and inclusive community where members and friends gather to support each other in their spiritual journeys and give service to the wider world of which we are a part. If you would like to learn more about our congregation and our faith tradition of Unitarian Universalism, we encourage you to connect with Harold Stillman, Lauren Normay, or Gretchen Grimm from our membership committee after the service. If you're joining us on Zoom, please put your name and contact information in the chat, and someone will reach out to you. You can also visit our website at www.fourthuu.org. I'll bring up Vincent.
Good morning, everyone, and I wanted to thank everyone for coming out in this little bit of weather we're having, and thank you everybody on Zoom for our special guest today. I just need to get a couple of volunteers to light the candles. Okay, thank you. We have a gathering hymn. It's 131 in your in the gray hymnal. You could please stand if you're able and join in. Thank you. Yes.
Our musicians are ill, most of them.
Yes.
Recordings today. Thank you for your patience.
We usually have a musician, set of musicians over here.
Jesus Christ, hope beside us, leading the way. On the road hungry to giving, love will guide us through the hard heart. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has guide us, hope beside us, leading the way. All alone, agree to give. Love will guide us through the hard night.
To Remember by Ade Amakraba. Spirit of life, we have come here today to remember what some are intent on making us forget. To remember a man who fought to end segregation. To remember a man who marched to counter prejudice and oppression. To remember a man who was filled with peace and hope. To remember a man with promise and a dream. To remember a man with a voice that rang out for justice and freedom. All these things we remember and honor in the legacy of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and a life well lived in service to all. May it be so. Amen. And if I could get another volunteer to light the chalice. We light the chalice to the words of Martin Luther King. Extremists of justice. The ultimate weakness of violence is that it is a descending spiral, begetting the very thing it seeks to destroy. Instead of diminishing evil, it multiplies it. Through violence, you may murder the liar, but you cannot murder the lie, nor establish truth. Through violence, you murder the hater, but you do not murder the hate. In fact, violence merely increases hate. Returning violence for violence multiplies violence, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. The question is not whether we will be extremists, but what kind of extremists will we be? Will we be extremists for hate or for love? Will we be extremists for the preservation of injustice or for the extension of justice? I'd like to take a few minutes to introduce something. I'm going to do a little reading of Priscilla Augustin. Priscilla Augustin is a faith-driven leader, social justice advocate, and community builder whose life's work reflects the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. She gives all honor to the Lord for sustaining her strength, guiding her purpose, and allowing her to serve her community with compassion and conviction. Priscilla's commitment to service began in childhood, where early volunteer experience shaped her belief in justice, unity, and the power of collective action. Today, she serves as the president of the NAACP Peekskill Branch 2170, leading efforts to strengthen partnerships with elected officials, faith leaders, and school district leadership to promote peace, equity, and community harmony. She holds a master's degree in social work from Fordham University a bachelor's degree in psychology, music, and English literature from Manhattanville College. Her professional journey includes decades of leadership in social services, spanning foster care, therapeutic foster boarding homes, prevention programs, diagnostic evaluation services, residential care, domestic violence support, trainer consultant, and youth development. A gifted vocalist and former owner of Z Recording Studio. Oh. Priscilla has used music as a ministry and a tool for healing. She has provided vocal coaching, musical arrangements, and performances in church choirs and theatrical productions. She founded and conducted the Cardinals McCloskey Songbird Choir and served as lead vocalist for the Unity Gospel Band. Her dedication has been recognized with numerous honors, including the Black Excellence Award 2025, the Westchester Black Women Political Caucus Peekskill Chapter 2025, Women's History Month Dr. Hazel N. Dukes Political Activism Award, and the City of Peekskill Proclamation. She has also received the Women in Organizational Leadership Award 2025, Dare to Be Different Westchester, the Westchester, New York Certificate of Recognition, the New York State Assembly Citation, March 2025, the New York State Senate Proclamation honoring 2025, the Community Engagement Award in 2023, the Best Practices Achievement Award in 2003, and the Mayor and President Award for exemplary volunteer work. Rooted in faith and commitment to work of justice, Priscilla Augustin continues to inspire others to serve boldly, love deeply, and carry forward Dr. King's vision of a beloved community. Please join me in welcoming Priscilla Augustin, the president of the NAACP Peekskill Ranch.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate the welcome. How are we doing today? Good. Full of joy, and joy is what we need. I certainly give honor to my Lord and Savior for being here this morning and giving us the opportunity to be able to wake up and breathing in spite of difficult weather. We're able to come and gather together and continue to worship Him, which is my favorite thing to do. I would be remiss if I do not give honor to my pastor in his absence from MOBC, Reverend Perry. Also, I want to give honor to our Dana Levenberg. Thank you for coming. And if I remiss to say anyone else, dignitaries in the room, I honor you and respect your work. To the shepherd of this house, may you continue to be blessed. And thank you for entrusting me with your shepherds this morning. I'd like to start with the brief statement of when I looked up our celebration of Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King for this year, the theme on Miss Claretta Scott's, she has developed that house for him, was Mission Possible 2. I thought it was fitting with what we're going through right now because we are in a mission. And that mission, I found it was fitting to speak on all the focus of the NAACP last year and this year is to address the urgency of now. So we all know that we are in a season where there is an urgency that calls for our attention and a swift action. And I will speak to that as I give you some encouraging words this morning. I would like to, since we are doing a cappella, I guess it's only fair for me to to sing a little song for you this morning. I'm just pulling up my slide as I do that. Thank you. I'll start with a scripture reading. And this was one of Martin Luther King's favorite scripture, and it's taken from Psalms 34, verse 14. Turn away from evil and do good. Speak peace and pursue it. A call to actively choose righteousness, goodness, and peacemaking in life, rather than passively waiting for peace to happen. I'm going to leave it at that. And I also thought it was fitting to sing one of his favorite songs. And I probably will do it a Priscilla kind of version, if I may. If I could help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or song, if I could help somebody as they traveling wrong, then my living shall not be in vain. Then my living shall not be in vain. Oh, my living shall not be in vain. If I can share love's message like the master taught, then my living, your living, shall not be in vain. Because we're honoring him, so we know his living is not in vain. I thank our executive team of the NAACP of Peekskill for their support and their courage of standing by me as their president throughout 3.5 years. Most of them would have liked to be here today, but unfortunately they weren't able to make it. But we do have our treasurer, Mr. Melvin Moore, and also our membership chair with us today. We also have former president of Peekskill NAACP, Mr. Martin McDonald, here in our present, who is also the founder and executive director of the Black Diamond Success. Thank you for your work and leadership. Martin Luther King talks about nonviolence, and the theme of mission and possible is not his theme, because nothing was impossible for him. So I like that they say it's mission possible, because we all have a calling to do work, whether it's work in a house of worship, whether it's work in a school, whether it's a political work, where you do your justice work, but we are all called to do the work that Martin Luther King left a legacy of. Mission possible doesn't mean that we sit back and allow somebody else to take the ball and run with it. It stands from building a community. It stands from uniting within our community. For example, I could say Peekskill, Mohegan Lake, Yorktown, they all fall under this branch, but outside of us. But if we could show that we're able to build and sustain a community, then the hope is that us being an example could show outside of Peekskill, maybe all the Westchester County, or my favorite line, I won't leave it, showing, forgive me for saying it, the White House, that we are a nation who stand together with love, dignity, and honor. Passive, we're not passive, but passive in the present time that we're living in could be interpreted as many things, right? We're passive about the violence piece because our message could be revealed without the violence. What would Martin Luther King say today about the violence that we are seeing in our community as well? And the violence that just occurred with ICE, that is despicable, right? That is unacceptable. It's not showing love and it's not showing care. So what would Mr. Martin, Dr. Reverend, what would he do? Martin Luther King would gather people together to go and organize people to march against those violence, but peacefully. What does peaceful look like? Peace doesn't mean I'm not gonna say, stop, you're doing wrong. Peace doesn't mean that if I see someone be beaten, that I'm not gonna intervene. I'm going to intervene in a nonviolent way. I'm gonna talk you down. I may stand to block you from hurting that person. I may stand to block you so you don't shoot that person. That was Martin Luther King's message. And I believe those of us in this room today, that is our message. How are we going to do that? How do we reclaim our power? How do we reclaim and feel safe and comfortable to combat the issues that we are dealing with right now? I want to remind you about kitchen conversation. What is that? Kitchen conversation at the table is where you and me have the opportunity to strategize on how to take action. What does that look like? Everybody doesn't need to know what you're doing. As long as your community, your cohort knows what we're doing. When we get together as a community to plan actions we're going to take, we strategize, right? We don't just say we're going to march tomorrow. We're going to this house tomorrow. Instead, no, We sit together and we have a plan. We organize from the top down. We protect ourselves as those who are on the front line by working together, having plan A, plan B. Martin Luther King didn't just go and walk. He had meetings. Started in the church and the temple. He had meetings even in selecting those who would stand by him. Those are meetings we need to have right now. And I dare to say, they're not meetings or community organization that says, because you're far left, you're not welcome. Because even the far left cannot tell us that they don't see what's happening and under our eyes in our country and our backyard. Because everyone knows what's right or wrong. So our call to action cannot be one-sided. That's where we're called for us to work as nonpartisan. I say that because there are people that we could speak to who do know what's right, but maybe they don't have someone to sit with them and discuss with them and touch them with and hear, to switch that antenna that they have that is so strong to support hate, to support violence. I don't think everyone under that roof is feeling that. They need people like us to ring them in. Doesn't mean they're gonna change their political group that they work with. It means that we need to bring them back to reality.
Amen.
Because what we seeing right now, it's not reality. I'm speaking for myself. It's psychological warfare. And even psychological warfare can be broken. Martin Luther King fought for justice. Break it down to be for us. What does that look like? Fair opportunity for safety. So how I break that down, our young ones, us, our elderlies, they're caught in this mess that we're in right now. How do we support them? We have to stand together and speak to those who are in the school working with our young ones. And we have. Why do I say that? Because I gave an example of ICE. When we knew ICE was coming, what did we do as a community? Many of us work with the schools, right? We developed a plan of action if their parents didn't come to pick them up. That may seem so small, but that was powerful because we had to ensure that when they were going home in that evening, they had a safe place to go. It seems small, but it is a plan of action that was needed. We gave out red cards that explains if you're taken by ICE, what should you do? We held community events to address that. We could do the same thing. We have to continue to do that even in the midst of the violence that we see occurring with ICE, with some police too. I'm not gonna leave them out. I'm not saying not to be pro-police. That's not what Dr. King would say, right? Because we need safety, right? And they serve safety. However, we got to hold them accountable. Again, what does that mean? We're not going to be passive, right? That's the part where we show how we don't need to be volatile. We're going to meet with the police. We're going to meet with their chief. We're going to remind them that there are protocols put in place. There are education tools to help police not to react volatile with those they are detaining. Is it going to happen overnight? No. But if we remain steadfast on the topic and do not be passive about it, and that they hope that we will forget, we could do some great work to ensure safety in our community. And that includes the police not being violent with those they detain. Our elderly, what would Martin Luther King say? Why should they have issues with their coverage for medical, for meds? That's not acceptable. Just because it's not a volatile physical violence, but it is. It's an attack on someone's well-being, because if I'm not properly cared for as an elderly, I could go sooner than I was supposed to. So we have to remember to create committees that could address these things. We are not a community who do not believe that we are able to do things. All of you who are sitting in this room that I've had interaction with, I believe have the strength and courage to do so. The urgency of now is again a call to action. We must take back the principle and hold it in our hands really tight. We must continue to show to our left, far left, to those that are right. Thank you, sir. To that we are together. We work together for peace. We have courage. Courage means that we could do all things. And I might say I could do all things through Christ who strengthened me. But we could do all things if we stick together, campaign together. See, NAACP, when we get information, we share it with everyone. Very nonpartisan. We try to stick to that because our hope is to bring that unity front that we need. If we invite them to speak with them, like I said earlier, about what they're doing wrong and they don't show up, we don't give up. It doesn't mean that we haven't tried. So I'm encouraging you not to give up, to speak to those who are so twisted in their minds. I dare say it. You gotta be twisted in your mind to continue to push violence that we fought for so long. For so long. You gotta be twisted in your mind to look at me, or someone who looks at me and dare say I don't belong, that I cannot achieve what I have achieved, those are still being said about our people. They're twisted. And we, people like you and I, have to remind people like me, people who look like me, that we are full charged with possibilities, that we could do anything with the right tools, with the education. Everyone needs education. So we must continue to speak boldly about ensuring that our children have our history, have the ability to be able to go to any school, any college that they want, because that's being attacked. If we don't continue to speak about it or do things about it, then we're being very passive with no action. So the positive passiveness is doing the action, and that's our resistance. We cannot allow our history books, yes, some already took it away, but we have to reclaim that power. I don't want to be someone who just stands here and speak about it and do nothing, and I know you don't want that either. Be part of the school. Be at the front. Doesn't matter if you just attend Saturday Academy, because they're walking around. You get a chance to speak on it. Go to the board meetings. That's what strategic planning means. You're going to discuss it and you're going to do it. I know we are in a fast, we work, we don't have time, but we have to make time. We have to send someone to represent each of those meetings so that we could be heard, so that they know we're not just sitting and not doing anything. That's what Martin Luther King would want us to be doing. Choosing to build that stronger community, I should say, continue. We're fighting the division that is being put on us. That's the message. If I keep you divided, then there won't be no results, because then we're not working together. All this division starts with our different parties, right? We're divided. It's okay. I could vote for one party. You could vote for one party, but at the end of the day, we need to come together to do the work. So we have to continue to speak about what does this division do to each and every one of us individually, because what happens to you individually projects what's going on around you. So we have to remain together, because together we could do more work, and we're stronger together. You all heard that? Yes. We're stronger together. We have to fight this divisiveness that is being preached on us. You turn on the TV, whatever channel you go on, you're going to see it. The radio, you're going to hear it. But remind yourself that when you're around people, our job is to keep a strong community that stands together. We're not divided. We're not. Don't let the system, don't let the season that we're in right now take over what we believe in as a community, as an individual. We must be transparent, and we must demand transparency from the people, we elected in office. Yes, I'm going to go there. Because transparency can show that we could trust you. We could trust what you say you're going to do. If I could trust what you say you're going to do, then as a community, I'm going to work and ensure that on my end, I'm keeping safety for everyone. But if you, elected ones, are not true, you're not transparent, and you're hiding things from us, we cannot trust you. So transparency is very important. Transparency within us is very important. Because if I'm going to work with you, I need to know where you stand. What's your values? What do you believe in? Where is our dignity? We're all sitting here because we believe in something. We believe that right is right, wrong is wrong. So if we believe right is right and wrong is wrong, we're always going to fight for justice because justice is what's right. But if there's no transparency, we cannot do that. We cannot do that. Our neighborhoods, our homeless population, transparency. They don't have places to live. Why? There's so many abandoned buildings. What are we doing about that? That's economic empowerment, right? How do we look at ourselves and not plan for that? What do we do to ensure that our people have a place to live? Look at our homeless. A lot of our homeless, that stigma is there. And then they have the challenge of the mental health. And so if they're homeless, their mental health cannot be addressed. And hence, you have situation like you have in front of the riverfront. And that's not an oversight. That's being passive, because there are ways that we could ensure that mental health is addressed. There are ways we could address that to make sure that they have a place to live. People don't choose to have mental health challenges. They don't choose to be homeless. But we have the power to challenge those who are representing us to fight for better housings. There are a lot of empty buildings around. I know, I've seen them. That's where we go and talk to the people who are representing that division and say, what are you doing with this building? Why aren't we remodeling it for the homeless, for those who do not have enough to pay that big mortgage? Why have we forgotten that we are responsible for everyone, for each other? Because if we are, then we should be looking at building homes for those who are homeless, who are not able to afford it. I know I'm speaking to the choir here, because if I believe that it's possible, I know you believe that it's possible. We may hit stumbling blocks, but that's where the fight is. We have to fight against the stumbling blocks. What tools do we need to get rid of them? It's not easy, but it's not that hard. We just got to make sure that we're speaking to the right people. We have to make sure when we knock on someone's door that they're going to be truthful about the assistance that they could give to us as a community. Building, rebuilding, I should say, takes courage, takes action, and takes strength. That's what the urgency of now is speaking about. That's what we need to be able to deal with what we're dealing with right now. Compassion. So that call to action is, what organization are you going to join to be able to be at the table? Are you going to join Fourth Unitarians? Are you going to join and support Black Diamonds Success? Because you're sitting here, I'm picking on you. Because that's addressing education. Are you going to join the NAACP and join one of the committees who fight for justice? Be part of the civic engagement so we could ensure and educate the people around us of what it means to use their power to vote, because it stems from that. There is a lack of registration for those who could vote in Westchester. It's big. So are you gonna join an organization and be part of that civic engagement committee? Are you gonna join an organization where you could be part of the criminal justice committee so we could hold our police accountable, DA's office accountable, Attorney General office accountable, Homeland Security accountable? That's what it means to act now. That's what it means to answer to the call now. Because that's the best way to do it, because you're not silo, you're not alone. That's what you have to join these organizations to be able to do that. You're going to join and join the health committee. Why would you join the health committee? There are hospitals all over. But you could speak to why vaccine is needed, why certain medication is needed. If you don't believe in it, then you don't believe in it. But if you know it saves lives, that's what you're going to fight for. We don't need no one from the White House telling us what to do about our kids not getting vaccines, not getting medication that we need. So those are the things, that's a committee you could work with and come and plan strategically how you're going to come together and write something that will affect that, the legislation piece. We, the NAACP, we take recommendations from those committees. When you write something that you would like to go to legislation, we take it to our state president, we take it to the national level, and we bring it, they bring it where it needs to be. That's a call to action. And it's nonviolent. Dr. King had one of his favorite saying is, the time is always right to do what is right. So in the season that we are now, the time is right for us to challenge ourselves to do what is right. So we have to be willing. We have to be able to say, I'm going to commit to doing what's right. because that's the only way that we will continue the movement for justice in our community. And that's the way we'll send a message to the White House. And that's the way we will heal our nation. Because we need those actions to happen to be able to move forward. So I leave you with these words. I hope you've heard the call of action, and I hope that you will make a decision today on how your plan of action with your loved one, your community would look like to challenge one of those things I spoke about. You don't have to do all of it. Again, remember, your community and organization and your committees will do the call of action and have strategic planning for it. So as I put it to you, when you see me, remind me also. I'm not exempt from that. Remind me, what am I doing in my position to fulfill my call of action? So thank you so much. And may you have a blessed and wonderful day. I believe I was supposed to welcome any questions at this time.
I just want to thank you for being willing to come and speak to us today. My name's Eric. Sorry, I know we introduce ourselves. I frequently flout that rule. I think one of the things that I appreciate is your not being afraid to address how big the problem is. Because I think it can get a lot to talk about when you talk about education, when you talk about politics, when you talk about housing. And it can make all of these things seem large, but if we're not willing to look and be open to the idea about what we've decided as a culture that we're going to accept, we're not going to be able to fix it. So I appreciate that. I also appreciate the act of you being here speaks to, I think, one of the things that before he was taken from us, starting to put all the pieces together of it's not about religious belief, it's not about dogma or creed, which is why I like being here. It was the idea that we all have a part to play, and we should all be in this together. It's the thing that you spoke about. And I hope that that's the kind of attitude and spirit that called us to invite you here.
Thank you.
And, you know, I think that I just really, it's heartening to have this sort of connection, and that we can start to form those sort of bonds so that we can be strong. Because people think the idea of being passive is a lack of strength, but it's not. And so we can start to move in different directions. So I appreciate you coming here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I want to, I will second Eric's, this is Reverend Lane, I will second Eric's note of appreciation. Thank you so much for being here. And also, we are a small but very committed congregation and we are committed particularly to partnering with organizations who are doing the work that you spoke about this morning. And NAACP is one of those organizations. And other faith communities are part of that network as well. Thank you so much for confirming that this is the work that there is to do.
Thank you.
And for instilling hope that we can be effective when we work together. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have two people on Zoom.
Zoom. Effie, unmute yourself. Good. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for this wonderful service. And Priscilla, I'm so grateful for your words. As I was listening, you touched on three things that I think are so important around transparency. You spoke about health, sort of the health of the nation, and how critical it is that our electeds really advance this. You spoke about education, how so many of us in this room were transformed and were able to sort of move up the economic ladder because of good public education. And you spoke a lot about safety around not just ICE, but police. And I think these are three essential pillars to your point, and I'm echoing you, to empowerment. Empowerment for us individually as a community and as our nation. And I am very grateful for you and everyone in this room who has a moral compass that points towards enabling us to all be empowered in this way, and that is what we have to fight for in this moment. And I'm also immensely grateful for the legacy of Martin Luther King because we stand on the shoulders of giants in this way. We have been, as a nation, in this place before, and as a nation, we've evolved out of it in a better way. So it's a dark moment, but your words were very illuminating, and I'm grateful for it. And I feel personally empowered to be with a group like this, knowing that we can make the nation better if we stick to our moral compass and we come together. So thank you so much for your words, and thank you to everyone here for being in community.
In the mic, Tara.
Leah, unmute. Leah, unmute.
Okay, sorry, it's hard on
Good.
phone. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Effie. Thank you, Priscilla, so much for your words this morning. You're really inspiring to me. I've seen you a couple of times, but I've never actually heard you, and you're really amazing. So thank you so much. I loved your message of inclusivity and unity among all of our various groups. I like that you're promoting this unity within the Peekskill NAACP and beyond. You're talking about being the change you want to see in Westchester all the way to Washington, which I love that. I love that message. And I would love us all to join together now is more important than ever. We can't stay in our silos. We have to be together, work together. I feel like anyone who's not white and Christian in this nation is going to suffer first and most. And we are all, we can't just watch this happen. And that's how I feel. I have much compassion. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And we're seeing that right now. We are all going to eventually suffer if we let this administration go. So I also love what you said about police. I work in police reform. I've seen you in the courts for DeMar Fields in support, as well as the county or the city council meetings. So I see what you're doing. I think Peekskill NAACP is an exemplary branch. Thank you so much. And I just wanted to put it out there that tomorrow the Justice for DeMar Fields Committee is having a combination rally in Peekskill at the city courthouse. This is talking about justice for DeMar Fields and police accountability. So everyone, please come by at 12 noon. And thank you again, Priscilla. That was great talk.
Thank you, Emma.
Hi, my name is Janet. I just wanted to say that, when I read about the vaccines and stuff, I feel very helpless. And what you were saying today is that we don't have to be so helpless. And it was a call to action. So I appreciate that. And it's given me a lot to think about.
Amen.
On my way up, I was, Priscilla, thank you so much for your words and your calls, many calls to action, and utilizing Reverend Dr. King's words to inspire all of us. I happened to be listening to a little podcast or something on NPR this morning about the film Mr. Nobody versus Putin. And it was all about this one man who worked in a school who was like the AV director. And he started seeing what was going on and started just sort of videotaping everything. But one of the things that happened right during overtaking Ukraine was that the government started to distribute propaganda to the schools and said, this is the lesson you have to teach. Mm-hmm. This is how you need that you need to film everything to show that you're doing what you say you're going to do, and then you need to send it, submit it. And he started doing all these little actions, like, for example, he videotaped just the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes of the lesson and left the rest black. Like, who's watching this? Is the one person actually reviewing this? Anyway, he in his small way, like you were saying, he was bringing transparency to the system, what was happening. And when I think about really what's happened with DEI, for example, and what the directives that have come down from the White House, it's disgusting, it's despicable, and every little action we can take to bring transparency to the impact that this is having on our school children, on our families, what is happening with ICE, the videotaping, bearing witness, all of these things work against the propaganda machine on Truth Social that is kind of being put out there without question to many because people aren't really seeing the true story. So I applaud you for sort of this call to action, taking little steps. It doesn't have to be everything. You don't have to do everything, but challenging the system in a way that you're able to take on is critically important at this time. And I also want to just do a shout out to something that I'm working hard for in New York State, which is the New York Health Act, universal health care. At least we can get it done in New York, because we can't get it done at the national level. Then we need to start somewhere, and we need to make sure that people are covered for prescriptions, for vaccinations, for long-term care, for dental, for vision, all of that in a way that would be a system that actually could work for New York, to make sure that we're actually in the black instead of in the red, and making sure that everybody is provided for and not discriminated against. And that includes anybody who lives or works for an employer in New York State. So I hope that you'll continue to fight, Priscilla, and continue to shine light on all that's happening, whether it's police violence or in Peekskill or anything else. We need to all stand together and do this together, one person at a time, and together with community. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you again. Thank you to the Shepherd of this church. And like I said, have a blessed day. And if you're available this afternoon at Mount Olivet Baptist Church, we're having a community Martin Luther King event. All are welcome if you are able to travel.